out, through, and into. What's this got to do with the Bible or Joshua, you ask? So glad your curiosity is alive and well. These 3 words from the Bible Project help me remember this biblical theme that is first seen in the book of Exodus, with God bringing Israel out of Egypt, then leading them through the wilderness in the next 3 books. Then in the book of Joshua, God leads them into the promised land at last. Joshua is a historical narrative book, so it's made up a lot of stories about events in this important part of Israel's history. Some of these exciting stories you may have heard as a child, such as the parting of the Jordan River and the fall of Jericho, to name a few. The reading gets harder with the land allotment list for the 12 tribes, but then ends with Joshua's epic speech. If the land allotments get you down, seek out a map to help you visualize. They are an important fulfillment of promise. When the book opens, we see that Moses has just died. Now God is commissioning Joshua to lead the people into the promised land, the land he had scouted out 40 years ago. Joshua must have had some reason to be afraid or unsure, because God opens the book and promises Joshua that he will be with him. You know it's important because God repeats himself. So take note. Joshua 1:9, ever been used to encourage you? Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. If you've ever tried to command your feelings and doubts into submission, you know it's impossible on your own. But with God's presence, you can succeed. You can be strong and courageous because of God's promises and character. What's the source of your strength and courage, God or yourself? I feel Joshua grows a lot between this beginning with God's repeated reassurance to the end of the book, where the same Joshua who needed this promise is now saying to the people of Israel, choose this day whom you will serve. But as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord. Joshua 24:15. These 2 quotes from Joshua are great bookends. We start with God commanding Joshua to be bold and courageous, and by the end, bold and courageous Joshua stands before the people of Israel and issues an ultimatum. Joshua has settled whom he will serve, but through all of this, the people have not chosen. Throughout the book, we see the inconsistency of their trust and obedience, but God never wavers in his commitment to his promises and purpose. Watch for God to be a promise keeper on several levels, and the people held to the covenant. Watch the results of Israel's obedience and disobedience, and remember that God isn't manipulated by their outward actions into giving them good things. Sometimes they can look like the prosperity gospel in Joshua, but they deserve only wrath from God, no matter their actions. They and we all truly only ever earned God's wrath for our sinful rebellion. While the book of Joshua records one of the high points in Israel's history, many people struggle with Joshua and the fact that the Israelites are commanded to vote whole people groups to destruction. If this bothers you, then observe God's mercy towards Rahab, the Canaanite, for her faith and the role she plays in redemptive history. And then look at the way Achan, the Israelite, is judged by God for his disobedience. God is a righteous judge for all people, even Israel, and we have not seen the last of many of these people groups as Israel failed to fully obey God. As a result of Israel's sinfulness, they cycle again and again out of oppression, through wilderness and trial, and into the promises of the promise-keeping God. Then remember that God brought you out of your sin through Jesus' death and resurrection, and we are walking through the wilderness of this present age. But God will keep his promises, and through Christ will bring us into heaven and eternal life with him. As the Bible Project reminded me, Jesus himself is the way out, the way through,